Okay, so Julia, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
You're a veteran here.
Yes, well, I've been a few times. I think this is my 5th time now.
And what's your assessment of Davos 2019?
You know, it's interesting. I think the best comparison is to last year, actually, and a lot of people have been saying to me, we were a bit too optimistic last year, a bit too pessimistic this year. So if you take sort of the difference between the two of them, I think that's where we lie. There's lots of challenges, clearly.
But many people were talking about, oh, Donald Trump's not here. Is it really an issue? I mean, given the fact that Bill Clinton was the only person who was here prior to Donald Trump.
I think in a way it is, because some of the biggest challenges that we're talking about right now are emanating from the United States. The other big challenge, of course, is Brexit. And when you don't have either of those leaders here, you end up talking about solutions to problems when the problem solvers ultimately aren't in the room.
So is it a disappointment a bit? That was 2019, no Trump, no Macron, no Theresa May.
Shall I tell you what, you could get around more easily. The traffic was nowhere near as crazy.
That's
so
true.
Let's look at the optimistic
Positive
side here. I think it's good to have robust debate about all things, not just about markets, about business, but everything else that needs to go on in the world, education, things like that. And I think a lot of that did happen here. Climate change, of course, huge issue this year. And
wonderful talk by David Attenborough.
Yes, people are actually paying attention, and I think this is so important.
So some were assessing that, Trump's not here, so Russians and Chinese will be all over the place. Did that happen?
Well, we didn't get Xi Jinping here, remember, and if you go back 2 years ago, he was the one doing the big globalization speech. We did have Wang Qishan, very important guy, but I think everyone believes ultimately that, Xi Jinping is the dude that makes the decision. So if he's not present, then what more can be done? But again, what I hear from big business leaders is that they gave their side of the story to the Chinese. The Chinese were listening. The hope, of course, is that some kind of deal and arrangement can be reached.
What about Russians?
The Russians are an interesting one, aren't they? Because the United States, Donald Trump has his own relationship with Russia, and that continues to boil beneath the surface. The Russians were present. It was good to see them here. Vladimir Putin stayed away. Probably a good thing too, I think, as well.
Yeah. So what about after Davos 2019? Will we see actually things that were talked about here happening in 2019?
That's a great question. And I think that's
has that ever been the case with Davos?
Yeah, and I think we ask the question every year. We hope. I think what WEF would argue is, look, they want to bring smart people together and have robust debate, and that always happens. But I think it's down to big businesses, it's down to us as individuals to push for the change, even if at the government level there's a lot of dysfunction at times and perhaps the things don't happen. And I think the message that we did get here is businesses are stepping up. They're trying to hire more people. They're trying to reskill their workforces. They're trying to tackle things like the homeless crisis. Look at Microsoft, a classic example. AI, big billionaires investing money to try and help countries push research. Things are being done by the business community. Let's not ignore that.
So you're a business journalist. My final question, do you believe 2019 will be something to be afraid of in terms of business, of possible recession, big risks, or not?
I think there's big risks out there. I think the trade situation is a big risk. I think Brexit could be interesting depending on what happens for Europe and beyond. But I think we shouldn't talk ourselves into a downturn here, and I think the fundamentals remain pretty solid. Let's focus on fundamentals, remove the rhetoric.
Let's focus then. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Great. Thank you.